Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and I have a question for you guys. Have you ever had a really weird thought where, let's say you were driving and you were like, what if I just turned into ongoing traffic right now? Or maybe you were holding a knife and you were like, what if I just stab myself right now? If you haven't ever had these thoughts, don't judge. But if you had, this is very common. This is called intrusive thoughts. And what intrusive thoughts are they are involuntary thoughts or unpleasant ideas or images, and they can become obsessive, which then leads to distress, and it can be hard to stop. To a healthy person, a healthy mind, when intrusive thoughts come, they're able to be like, that's weird, and they're able to move on. But someone who suffers with anxiety or depression, they will then keep ruminating. What rumination is to repetitively think about something over and over, and the thoughts are usually negative. The reason why you ruminate is it's your brain's way of trying to resolve things or a way to make you feel better. And it's also a way to try to gain some sort of insight or a way to feel like you are in some sort of control. It's kind of similar to fantasizing. Like, you want to continue to keep fantasizing, but you get good positive feelings. With rumination, you're obsessively thinking about something negative and you're getting more and more upset, or you're getting more and more anxiety. So with someone with anxiety or fear, what happens is they get one of those scary, weird thoughts and you think, that's weird. Why did I get that thought? And then you start to think, oh no, what if it's because this is a sign? Or oh no, what if this means that I have this illness? Or oh no, what if this certain thing is gonna happen? You start to ruminate and spiral and continue to entertain that idea that you just got. Someone who has anxiety will have more of these thoughts, and you may be wondering, well, why am I having these weird thoughts? And it's because of the way you react to these thoughts. Your brain will continue to throw these thoughts your way based on your reactions. If you react in an extreme way, like you are trying to avoid the thoughts or you are trying to fight them, your brain is going to be like, I'm uncomfortable. Let's figure this out. Let's keep them coming till we come to some sort of solution that makes me feel comfortable. These thoughts or these negative things that are happening then causes you to see the world in a negative light or a scary light, which then causes it to keep coming. It kind of works the same way when you think about good things. You kind of see the world in a completely different light. You feel like everything good's happening to you based on maybe one good thing that's happened or one good thought. And so your brain will continue to feed those positive thoughts because you kind of see the world in that different light. The same thing happens with those negative thoughts. So with intrusive thoughts and rumination, it's a way for you to try to mind read and try to predict the future, because what's happening is you're having a lot of anxiety about uncertainty. Uncertainty is a big trigger. So here's the thing, your thoughts become your beliefs. So when you think these things and you entertain these thoughts, you now believe that that's something that is happening or could happen. As I always say, your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you're imagining these things, you're thinking it's actually happening. And so when you're imagining these gory, horrible things going on, you feel like it's actually happening and it's putting your body in distress. So then you start to think about it more and more and more because you were trying to gain some sort of insight or control over these things. I remember my first intrusive thought. When I was 19, I was driving in the car with my mom and I got this weird thought, like, what if you killed her? And I got so scared. I clenched my fist so tight because I thought I was going to kill my mom, because I was thinking, why else would I have that thought unless I wanted to do it? Why would I have those types of thoughts? I was terrified. I was a sociopath. I was like, there's no other reason. I'm a freaking sociopath. I'm gonna kill people. I was terrified. So just because you're having a thought, it doesn't mean that you want to do it. It's just your body's way of reacting to the negative things that are going on in your mind. But just know, if you're having scary thoughts like that, those are usually your deep-seated root fears, like you're afraid of people hurting or suffering and things like that. If you are someone that's afraid of hurting others, just know that someone who genuinely wants to hurt others wouldn't be afraid. But there's more than things like that. There's also intrusive thoughts about negative things going on, intrusive thoughts about feeling like you're a garbage person. Those can be intrusive thoughts, and they just repeat over and over, and it keeps you deeper and deeper depression. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, unfortunately. So you're probably wondering, how do you stop doing this? Like, that sounds like hell. Well, the first thing I will say is recognize when you're doing it. The minute you start doing it is the minute when it's a lot easier for you to get out of it. Once you're spiraled and you got to that deep dark place where you already are feeling really terrible, or you are in a full-blown panic attack, it's a lot harder to get out of it. You then have to use grounding techniques to help you bring it back to reality. So it's a lot easier to get out of it when you recognize when it's happening. The other thing that's really important is to recognize your triggers as well. You may be triggered at certain times, maybe when you see certain things, when you watch certain things, when you're around certain things, it may trigger you more. So you want to take notes of your triggers, and during those triggers, those are the times when you're going to need to use coping mechanisms, like maybe practicing mindfulness, which I'll get to in a minute. Or maybe you need to take some deep breaths, or maybe you need to go talk to a friend. You need to recognize your needs during those triggers so you help yourself to be less triggered in the future. Also, a big trigger for people is uncertainty. So just know, like, if there's something going on that you don't have any clarity about and there's a lot of uncertainty, that's when you need to really help yourself. And which goes into the next thing, focusing on what you can control. With uncertainty and with intrusive thoughts, a lot of it is focusing on what you can control. So if something's going on, ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, then bring yourself back to something you can control. And the next thing is to change the way you think about it. Try to see it in a different light. For instance, let's say you're having intrusive thoughts about people saying negative things about you. Switch it to maybe they're saying positive things. Is that information you really know? And also, a way to change how you perceive things is also accepting things and being comfortable with the way things are. Accepting that there's things that you can't change, accepting your reality. When you have acceptance, it will give you a sense of calmness, like, okay, like, I cannot focus on those things that are out of my control, but I'm going to focus on what I can control. Another way you can change the way you view things is also by challenging those scary thoughts. Like, sometimes we have thoughts that they're logical and they make sense of why it would happen, but sometimes they're more fear-based rather than it's something actually happening. So you want to challenge yourself and be like, okay, well, do I have any proof of this happening? Just because I'm afraid of it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Things like that can really help you. Another thing that's really helpful when you are having intrusive and ruminating thoughts is to disrupt the pattern, because that's the key thing that you need to do with ruminating and intrusive thoughts. Is you're stuck in this pattern and your brain recognizes these patterns, so you want to disrupt it. So something you could do is, like, you're recognizing you're having these thoughts and say something silly like mic drop, and then all of a sudden it will disrupt the pattern and you'll start to be able to focus on something else. Or you can randomly say keyhole, I don't know, that just really came to my mind. Just random things like that could really help you to bring you back to be like, okay, like, I'm going through it again, I'm gonna bring myself back to focusing on something else. And the last major one that's really helpful is practicing mindfulness. What mindfulness is basically being present, focusing on your surroundings, what's going on in front of you. I have 10 fingers, I'm wearing blue nail polish, things like that. And what mindfulness does is it helps bring discipline to your mind, and it helps to retrain your brain. So rather than you reacting to the thoughts you're having, you are now teaching your brain to be calm and be present. And it also gives you control of your automatic thoughts. So really try to do that when you're having those intrusive, ruminating thoughts. Bring yourself back to, what are you doing? What's going on with you right now? It's all about basically recognizing these thoughts, challenging them in some sort of way, shifting your perception about them, and then letting them be, which that's where the acceptance comes into, and the mindfulness. That's the key way to retrain your brain. Like, okay, I see this is what's happening. I understand why it's happening. These are the things that I need to do to stop it and help myself. and then I need to constantly bring myself back to now. And you'll notice yourself starting to have these thoughts less, and you're ruminating less because you are able to have your mind be more disciplined, and you are having more control because you're focusing on the things you can control, and also you're focusing on more positive things rather than ruminating on those negative things and feeling like everything's negative. The key thing you want to do is to disrupt the pattern of your thoughts. So here are some things that can help with that. So what do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. I got my forest green shirt ready to go in the forest. I'm ready to go in the forest. Let's take a thumbnail. Okay, how close is this? Oh, actually, I don't want the clip in my thumbnail. I wonder if I'm still recording. I swear I say that every video.